My wife returned with an STD after a friend's wedding. I filed for divorce and made sure she'd never forget the consequences. Hey Reddit, I go by Plus here, and my name is Nathaniel Cross. A year ago, if you'd asked me how my life was going, I would have told you I was living the dream. I was 35, married to a woman I believed I'd grow old with, and laying down the foundation for the future we both said we wanted. Melanie and I had been together for 9 years, 3 of those dating, 6 of them married. I didn't just love her, I built my world around her. She was my partner, my safe place, the first person I called when something amazing happened, and the only one I leaned on when life hit hard. We had dreams. Big ones. We talked about traveling the world together, starting a family, building a home that would be filled with laughter and love. And after the heartbreak of 2 miscarriages, we were still trying. We were healing. At least, I thought we were. That illusion shattered after she went to a destination wedding for one of her close friends. It was out of town, and I didn't go. Work obligations and financial constraints kept me grounded. Melanie understood. Or maybe she just pretended to. I still remember dropping her off at the airport, kissing her goodbye, and telling her to enjoy the trip. She hugged me tightly and said she loved me. I had no idea that the woman I embraced that morning wouldn't be the same one who came back to me. When she returned, everything seemed normal. Too normal. She was upbeat, full of stories about the wedding, the ocean views, all the fun she had. That night, we had dinner, watched our usual shows, and fell asleep wrapped in each other's arms. I kissed her goodnight with no clue that something had already shifted. 3 weeks later, I started feeling unwell. Low energy, a strange discomfort I couldn't quite place. I chalked it up to stress or maybe exhaustion. Just to be safe, I made a doctor's appointment. I didn't expect what came next. The doctor looked at me carefully and said, "Nathaniel, your results came back. You tested positive for an STD." I actually laughed. It sounded so absurd. "That has to be a mistake," I told him. "I'm married. I've only ever been with my wife." He gave me a look I'll never forget. Calm, but heavy. Sometimes the people closest to us aren't who we think they are. Those words carved themselves into my brain. Still in disbelief, I went to another clinic across town for a second opinion. Same test. Same result. No room for doubt. That night, I sat alone in my car in the driveway for 2 straight hours, staring at the front door I had opened for her 1,000 times. My stomach twisted in knots. But I didn't go in swinging. Not yet. I needed to be sure. I began watching. Observing. She had always guarded her phone, but I waited for my moment. One evening, she was in the shower, and her phone was finally left unattended. I checked. It was spotless, unnaturally so. No messages, no call history apart from the expected ones. Either she'd scrubbed it clean or never communicated with the guy that way. I was starting to think maybe, somehow, there was a mistake. Maybe the results were wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Until I found it. I was tidying up the bedroom while she was making dinner, something we used to do for each other, when I noticed her handbag sitting open. A small prescription bottle was sticking out. I pulled it out and read the label. Her name was right there. And the medication. Antibiotics. The exact kind used to treat the STD I'd been diagnosed with. My mouth went dry. I triple-checked online just to be absolutely certain. Then I called out calmly, "Melanie, can you come here for a sec?" She walked in, drying her hands on a towel, casual as ever. I held up the bottle and asked, "What's this?" She froze, blinked, then said, "Oh, that's for my friend. She asked me to pick it up for her." I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was such a pathetic lie. I stared her down and said, "We're both getting tested. Tonight." That's when the mask cracked. She freaked. "You can't force me to do that." I didn't flinch. I don't have to. I already got tested. Twice. I have an infection. So unless you've got a better explanation, I'm taking this straight to your family and mine and letting everyone know what I caught. Her face turned white. She collapsed onto the bed, sobbing. And that's when the truth poured out. She admitted to sleeping with someone at the wedding. Said it was an old friend from college. Claimed they drank too much. Things got out of hand. She never meant for it to go that far. She insisted it was a one-time mistake, that she was scared and ashamed and didn't know how to tell me. But I didn't hear regret. All I saw was someone trying to contain the fallout. If I hadn't gotten sick, she never would have told me. She would have buried it, carried on like nothing ever happened. And that, the cover-up, hurt even more than the betrayal itself. I didn't sleep in our bed that night. Instead, I closed the door behind me and took a pillow into the guest room, shutting out the weight of her presence. By sunrise, I'd made up my mind. The path ahead was painful, but clear. Exactly a week later, while she was out running errands, I sat across from a divorce attorney in a quiet downtown office. Since we had no children and the house was legally in my name, the paperwork was surprisingly straightforward. I signed the forms with steady hands, like a man finalizing a contract, detached, precise. But this wasn't just about ending a marriage. I wasn't going to let her walk away without consequences. Melanie prided herself on her image, perfectly curated through book clubs, charity work, and her small-town social scene. Her reputation was everything to her. So I made sure the mask she wore cracked. I mailed anonymous letters to the organizers of 3 of her favorite social groups. No threats. No dramatics. Just a simple line. Before you keep Melanie in your circle, you should know what really happened at Sarah's wedding. Ask her. 2 days later, she was served the divorce papers. I wasn't home at the time, but when I returned, she was there, standing just inside the doorway, trembling, red-eyed from crying. "Nathaniel," she choked out. "Please, don't do this. We can fix it. I'll do anything." I looked her straight in the eyes. "This isn't about punishing you. It's about freeing myself." She broke down, begged, tried to touch me, even tried to seduce me. It was pathetic. I didn't say another word. I walked past her like a ghost through smoke. In the weeks that followed, the fallout began. The social circles that once adored her slowly turned cold. Invitations stopped arriving. She was quietly removed from her charity board. Even that college friend, the one she cheated with, blocked her. A few weeks later, she sent a long, desperate email. She said she'd lost everything. I didn't bother replying. I packed up and moved to a quieter coastal town about 2 hours away. Found a new job. Rented a modest apartment. I focused on rebuilding my health, my mental peace, my career. For the first time in years, everything I did was for me. I even started therapy, something I never thought I'd consider. But it helped. Piece by piece, I stopped looking her up. I stopped replaying the pain. I stopped wondering what I could have done differently. I stopped asking why. And then, 7 months later, on a rainy Thursday night, the past knocked on my door. It was nearly 9 p.m., and I was winding down for the night when I heard it. Not the buzzer, just a soft knock. I checked the peephole. And there she was, soaked from the rain, arms wrapped around herself, shivering on my porch. I opened the door just enough to speak, but not enough to welcome her in. Her eyes met mine, those same tearful eyes from the last time I saw her, but this time they held something deeper. Desperation. "Hi," she whispered. "Can we talk?" I didn't answer, just stared. She stepped forward. I stayed still. "Please," she murmured. "I know I'm the last person you want to see. But I have nowhere else to go." After a long silence, I unlatched the door and opened it slightly wider. Not out of mercy. Not because I missed her. I just wanted to see what 7 months of silence had done to her. And it had done plenty. Gone was the polished, self-assured woman who left for that wedding with spark in her eyes. In her place stood someone weathered, unkempt hair, wrinkled clothes, and a worn tote bag that looked like it doubled as her home. "What are you doing here, Melanie?" I asked, voice flat. Her gaze dropped. "I've lost everything," she said, barely audible. She eased herself into the nearest chair, like even staying upright was too much effort. "My parents don't talk to me anymore. Rumors got around and I was let go from my job. The charity group cut ties. I'm staying with a cousin for now, but it's temporary. I've been applying everywhere, she trailed off, swallowed, then added, "I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Truly sorry. I didn't rush to comfort her. Didn't tell her it was okay. I simply said, I've already forgiven you." Her eyes lit up briefly. "But," I added, "forgiveness doesn't mean I want you back in my life." She looked like someone expecting warmth but feeling the chill instead. Her lip quivered. "I understand," she said softly. "But I came to show you I've changed. That I want to make it right." "That's not how this works, Mel," I replied. "You don't get to decide when your apology is accepted. And you sure as hell don't get to play hero in a story you helped destroy." She flinched like every word struck a nerve. "You didn't come for closure," I continued. "You came hoping to be rescued. Because there's no one left to turn to." Tears welled in her eyes. "I'm not asking to come back," she whispered. I don't even know what I'm asking. I miss you. I miss what we had." I stood, walked over to the door, and opened it. "What we had ended the moment you chose someone else, and came back with more than just guilt." She didn't move. "I did love you," she said, her voice cracking. "I believe that," I answered. "But love without loyalty? That's just manipulation wrapped in pretty words." She nodded slowly, as if each word bruised her a little more. And without another sound, she stepped into the rain. I watched her fade into the night, no anger in my chest, no bitterness in my throat, just peace. That night, for the first time in years, I felt something powerful: closure. Melanie didn't just lose her husband. She lost the last version of herself that was still worth holding on to. And me. I found a man I never realized had been buried beneath all that pain. Myself.